Hi, my name is Gene Jordan. I'm going to give you a grade 3 module 1 quick overview and should be 5 to 7 minutes, so let's get started. Basically this video is for people who are implementing the module and who are interested in how to differentiate. Useful things that you can do to make the module easier: of course, you can look at the progression documents, look at the overview and assessments more carefully, explore selected lessons, and teach the module itself. Of course, will make it easier to teach it in the future. I won't have time much for any of these other than to give you a brief outline of the module itself, but hopefully that will help get you started. This is how our modules look here in September 2013. And we look at third grade module and we see we have a healthy size 25, 25, and 25 day for our first three modules. And I'll just be talking about the first one, but many of the planning and that you do for the first one will help you with all of the others. When you look closer at the module 3, you see that there's 6 topics and within the module itself, and there's no quizzes. I know I'll talk about assessments later, but for now I just wanted to briefly mention that around 1 or 2 topics it might be convenient for teachers to fit in a quiz or some sort of summative or formative assessment, so you don't get too far into it. Even though there's daily, quarterly, or daily formative assessments, it might be nice to add those other assessments in as well. When we look at the module, you look at a descriptive narrative. These are all the things that the components that you could use to help you understand the module better, and I'll go through a lot of these with this, but not all of them. Let's take a look at mistakes, analyzing mistakes of our students when they're teaching the modules. Basically identify where the students are struggling in third grade problems. Multiplication, division, factoring. What is or I should say, finding the particular factor. Did the students consistently have problems with unknowns in a particular position? Those sometimes can help you guide your own instruction, and that would be outside the scope of the modules, but it would still be something you can add into it. When you notice the fluency work that we're going to do within the modules, I would like everyone to keep in mind that the purpose of fluency is usually maintenance or topical. In this case, you might want to choose one that reviews a concept or builds towards future lesson. It's your choice. The topics always begin with a fluency. Doesn't mean your class has to begin with a fluency. I myself prefer to start a class with application problems, but the concept development and student debrief typically are pretty well close together. The fluency in third grade, for example, in one of the first few lessons, looks at an add, subtract fluency, activity, group counting, and add equal groups. Also included with this fluencies are sprints, and there's a page-and-a-half, I think, description of how to run through a procedure of a sprint. There's also a nice video of Bill Davidson doing a sprint, and you'll notice down here he's the author of most of the sprints in the Common Core. Excellent sprints, and they're all built around similar scaffold where they have quadrants where they usually go from easy, at grade level, and they progressively get more difficult. That's not always the case, but it is usually the case. And the purpose of the sprint is to keep math fluency fast, frequent, and fun. You'll also see pattern sheets of more things that are similar to Mad Minutes. They are not sprints, and they shouldn't be used as sprints. One more word back on sprints. Please do not separate sprints as B is the homework, or to continue that a sprint that you didn't finish in class, because no student really should be finishing a sprint. Make sure you keep those in class activities. Pattern sheets, I think that's a different. You have some choice and flexibility there. Day 2, concept development, we're looking at an array and a teacher concept development script. There's no reason that you have to follow the script that's given to you. It just helps teachers who are not sure about how to present the material. For example, in this particular lesson, you're presenting an array, a 4x3 array. The first question is how many objects are in the first row. You're starting that question with a very basic, I would say, first kindergarten level question. and you're going to progressively get them into a more difficult, rigorous lesson. Concept development, let's look at it on day 7. You'll see them working with arrays and with more complexity, and looking at them horizontally, and then shifting it to vertically or vice versa. Concept development day 13, you're then presenting the students with a real-world situation. 3 students share a pack of 12 pencils, and you're asked them to solve it. And the premise here is that they're going to build a tape diagram to help solve it, and so you're going to project the story problem and then help them with the tape diagram. Look for what's happening in the next module, because there will be even more conceptual work. They're going to work with rounding in the next module, but keep in mind concept development and the talking or thinking through out loud the problems is a helpful component, and it will help the kids adapt to module 2 as a little bit better and smoother. The problem sets are included for every days of lesson. They usually are 2 pages. You'll look at the first components with some math structures or pictures, and then more word problems at the end on this particular day 13 homework. The exit ticket is a daily formative assessment. After the problem sets, in the debrief, you could give a 2-minute or so daily exit ticket, and this is to help prove that they know what you taught. You'll notice the lesson complexity increases from examples, problem sets, and homework, as well as, of course, the module lessons themselves. So it's key that you don't skip particular problems on the problem sets or examples, especially the end ones. Those end ones are key. So if you were going to reduce the number of problems, you might consider this an even or odd strategy, or be very select. The homeworks match the concept development's problem sets pretty well, and that's something to keep in mind. If you shorten the problem sets, you probably should shorten the homework. If you yourself as a teacher find your time difficult to find time to do the key for the homework, that's a difficult thing then to tell the kids to do the same work. I would be a big advocate for teachers. You might want to do the key. It's difficult and it's time consuming in some cases, but it will help you as you teach the lesson. It's a great preparation for the lesson of the day. And then you can also identify any mistakes or typos that are in it before the kids get it, and that multiplying of the errors doesn't occur when you have 25 students with a typo struggling at home with their parent. Sometimes templates, like in lesson 16, are included within the modules. Other times they're not easily available. Sometimes I have a hard time finding the templates that are used, and I just have to Google search it. So keep an eye out for templates. They will be very useful. The module, of course, ends with an assessment, 2 or 3 pages, and in this case, these problems you can see progressively get more difficult, but they do tend to have words with white space with lots of writing and explanations. When you're considering and you're thinking about your own module implementation, keep in mind the differentiation and the challenges and solutions you'll have. If you have any questions, you can always let me know. Email me there. There's much more detail on the slides from State Network Team Institutes, and I have a link on the top there if you want to get more of those slides. You can check my own website for application problems and some extracted sprints. That's a work in progress. And like I said, Engage New York has most of these materials. Thank you.